So without further ado, we will go to the first chapter, and it will be Bird Springs. City Tuan Hilna Hadilna. Oh.
Good morning. Shay Dolly Wagner Yinshia. I am the chapter manager for Bird Springs chapter. I've been at the chapter for 3 years now. Unfortunately, I don't have one of my chapter officials here. They're still on their way. But our major concern in Bird Springs is Route 2, which is the south side of Bird Springs. That road really needs attention. It has been deteriorating for years, and we've been asking BIA to re-gravel, resurface, redo everything on that road. Right now, it has holes in it that people cannot travel. Well, they still use it to go to work, go to school, go to medical attention, go buy food, and all these things. But that road has not been attended to for ever since I've been there, and I'm sure it's been years after that. But because we are situated along the I-40 corridor, when that road shuts down, like recently, last month, due to snowstorms, those people do a detour into Bird Springs onto that new N71 road. That's really heavily used now, which we're really thankful for. But like I said, when I-40 shuts down, that traffic will go through Bird Springs. And they know that Route 2 is there, N71 is there, so people make a shortcut on N2. And with the recent snowstorm, even though we didn't get any snow, we got rain and it got mudded out. These truckers take that road and they mess it up. So since then, and this snowstorm was over a month ago, we've been asking to have that road regraded or something, and nothing has been done to this day. That's an issue with us at Bird Springs. The other issue is the completion of N71. I have no idea, or whose idea was to only complete half of a road. This thing was made before I came on. So, and the previous administration, previous chapter official, I'm sure are the ones, or previous before that, somebody made that decision to do only half a road, which is very inconvenient, very dangerous as well, because like I said, we are in a flood zone, a mud situation, and even if we don't get rain or snow down here, if the higher elevation gets snowed and rained out, we get the end of it. We get the downflows of all the water down that little Colorado River, and I'm sure some of you have witnessed that in the previous years. We get flooded out, and the only way for our community members to get to work, to get to school, to get their medical attention, and to go shopping is to either come all the way around here in Delcon or go all the way around in Loop, which is triple the travel one way as it is for them just to go across the river. So those are the two main issues that we have in Bird Springs. We would like to have the remaining road of N71 completed, as well as that bridge, Little Colorado Bridge, attended to, because that bridge, I hate to say this, but I don't know who the engineer on that bridge was, because it's poorly made. It is a device that catches debris, which causes all that flooding. It's a dam, that's what it builds up into when that water starts flowing. We have debris that comes down from Winslow and further down when that flood comes in, and it brings all kind of stuff, refrigerators, stoves, carcasses, lumber, everything comes down that river, and that bridge blocks it off. And that's where all that overflow, the flooding comes in. So that bridge needs to be attended to as well. So those are the three main things that we have in Bird Springs, aside from, we do have a contract with BIA to try to grade 5 existing roads, which are the major arteries in our community. But that's all we can do is just grade it. We cannot put anything on there to fix it, upgrade it, or anything else. We just grade it to keep it maintained so our people can travel on those roads. Thank you.
Thank you, Dolly. Okay, panel.
So one of the things that we're trying to get chapters to understand is for the entire Navajo Nation, we get about $50 million a year for all the projects, all 110 chapters. For that section of N71, that costs $10,528,910. So to do that 10 miles of road was 1/5 of the entire budget for the Navajo Nation for that one project. So when you want to do the whole route, there's an additional 20 miles. That's probably, yeah. Okay, I stand corrected, ma'am. But what I'm saying is, just to do your project, we took 1/5 of the entire Navajo DOT took 1/5 of the entire Navajo Nation budget to do that section of road. So we have a bunch of projects that are backlogged that we're trying to work on to get out of the compliance section. We are working with Federal Highway to try to get a different NEPA process than going through BIA. We do have a draft agreement that's coming from them so that we can expedite those. So all these money based on das nilya. I thought budget ba atalia di kojo based on budget that test. ADNG we need to get out of compliance and into design and then into construction. So a lot of those projects, because they weren't constructed, remember how much we pay for things? Everything that we paid for 5 years ago is probably double now, yeah. So those projects are still budgeted at the old routes. So we have to make adjustments on all of those ones. Our goal is within the next 2.5 to 3 years to bring everything current so that we can get all of the projects updated, because it's not good for us to show funds that are still available. We have projects that go all the way back to 2014, I believe, and we need to bring all of those ones current. So that's why we're trying to increase the number of staff that are there. So that's why we're separating the federal highway from the non-federal highway, why we're going back in and hiring all of those people to do those clearances. So part of our goal is to educate the chapters, all 110 chapters on we're trying to teach you guys 2 processes. The first one is, if this road this is the process to upgrade it, to repave it. Dirt road, pave it. This is the process for those ones. So that's what we'll be working with our planning on. We've already made a couple of contacts with Wilson and Company to help us make that presentation. So if you take anything away from it, is we understand there's an abundance of need. We're just trying to figure out how to prioritize the projects so that we can get projects done in all of the communities across the Navajo Nation. So for the first part of it, I'd like to give Mr. Peterman some time, and then I'll give Mr. Castillo some time to try to answer your questions, okay?
Hayate, everyone. My name is Joe Peterman. Introduction is Tachi Nido Class Chi Edische. I've been with Navajo DOT 6.5 years now. I manage the roads department. We have a lot of minor projects using fuel excise tax, CHUSN, Arizona appropriation, New Mexico Indian Affairs Department funds. N2, we do have a project at N2 right now. It's already been through the 164 process. We've selected a contractor, CB Emulsion, from where the county road ends, the pavement ends. We're going to go west 2 miles, work on widening that road to 22 foot wide, and then placing 3-inch gravel base course on top of it. So that's an ongoing project right now. It should be starting here sometime this year. N71, where the project ended, we were budgeted for, Mr. Patero said, we're budgeted to complete that project. That was all the funding that was there. We look at going the next 4 miles. That bridge needs to be addressed. You're right, that bridge is flat. It should be been raised up. If you look at the N71 that was constructed, it is raised up high. It was raised up 2 meters higher than the natural landscape because of the flooding issue there, Little Colorado River floodplain. So that next 4 miles is going to be very expensive. There's 2 bridges that are going to have to be completely redone, and it's going to be very expensive. And I believe Mr. Bradley is trying to scope some of this funding that we're getting in to start the design on that. Thank you.
Eto, good morning. My name is Calvin Castillo. These are my Ch's and Kizatana are my Nellies. I wonder, I don't say Michael's, I don't know. 1991, I started with the BIA. 2018 is when I left. I was the agency road engineer for Fort Defiance. So we covered this area when I was with the BIA. Back then at IA, they had road committee meetings, road committees. In this area, I worked with Elmer, Begay, Lee Jack, Ulayazi. They were the selectees from the districts to account for your roads out here. Out of those projects, these cases, back then, the first Indian reservation bill that came out for all tribes, it came out in 91. They call it ICE-T. $275 million for all the tribes. Navajo Nation used to get 33%. They used to get $78 million a year. At that time, it cost to do 12 miles was $6 million. All these other regulations started coming in, the Clean Water Act, all that stuff coming in, made the increase the cost. Today, $4 million a mile go just to build a road. So they had a 5-year plan. All your projects as the cost went up with the cap at 75 or 70 million, because all the administration cost was in there too. But 70 million was capped, those were for new projects. And when the cost started going up, it went to a 12-year plan. Then it went to a 20-year plan. Then it went to a 25-year plan. It went to a 35-year plan when it got to about $2.5 million a mile. At then, all you, teen then, okay then, your grandkids are probably going to use it. So then Navajo DOT took over that construction money. The other tribes, Navajo was getting too much. They redid the formula. And the Alaskans and the small tribes won that formula. So the Navajo Nation only gets 8%. Even though the amount of money that comes in is at $675 million for all nations, we only get $55 million out of that. So a lot of those other tribes, they put zip lines. I don't know if you know what zip lines are. Those are transportation to deliver goods to among their villages. Ice roads, you probably heard about those. Ferries, that's all included in here. So I keep telling everybody that the Navajo Nation doesn't fit in the Indian reservation roads anymore. We're like a state transportation. We need to get funded like a state. So I was telling that we need to get with our legislatures and advocate at the Washington level to make Navajo another state, get funded at that level, because we have the inventory of the state of Texas. We don't fit with the other reservations no more. We're too big. We're competing with them. When they go to vote, all the Alaskan villages get votes. Navajo only gets 1 vote. So you can see we're outweighed right there. So ADAM, N71, all that case in there, the agencies would run the alignment. We'll run the alignment and historic preservation, all those guys will look at it. We need to move the alignment. We want a road through here, but the preliminary investigation needs to be redone. So there's a lot of stuff that's in there. That's why he's saying he's reorganizing how we're doing everything. We're going to have to rely on not just federal funds, but other state, county routes, or county funds, to kind of supplement all your needs out here. We need to hear from you and trying to see if we can meet those needs with the funds we have available.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo.